Welcome to my podcast, Scientist Free from Religion. This podcast has as proposal, as main idea to talk about a scientific topic but also talk about religion. Different from the common assumption in which science and religion should be separated, here on this podcast we recognize formally that science and religion are not disconnected. Sadly, religion can be a very big threat to science. So on this podcast, the proposal is to talk about it freely, so without fear, without the illusion that they are separate topics. So we are going to cover a possible topic. Most of them will be focused on the connection between religion and science, especially to defend science. That's our goal. Our goal here is to defend science from religion and to help to make science, to spread scientific thinking, especially to defend it against religion.
What if the resurrection were proven false? Christopher Hitchens, Moral Collapse, and the Myth of Divine Ethics. In one of his many public debates on God, morality, and the foundations of human ethics, the late Christopher Hitchens invoked a mostly forgotten novel to drive home a provocative point. The book, When It Was Dark, 1903, by Guy Thorne, was a massive bestseller just before World War I. Today, it reads like a cultural fossil, not just because of its outdated literary style, but because of the deep fears it reveals about a world without faith. In the novel, a dramatic announcement rocks the Christian world. Archaeologists in Palestine have discovered a tomb containing a perfectly preserved body, scourged, crucified, crowned with thorns, and pierced in the side. The implication is unmistakable. This is the body of Jesus of Nazareth. The resurrection, it seems, never happened. The moral consequences are instantaneous and catastrophic. Civilization, according to Thorne, collapses. People descend into hedonism and violence. Men coupled like beasts in the streets, writes Thorne. Theft, perjury, rape, and murder run rampant. A midnight of civilization falls across the world. Eventually, of course, it's revealed that the discovery was a hoax, orchestrated, in the book's ugly anti-Semitic framing, by sinister Jewish people and journalists. Order is restored. Faith is saved. The resurrection stands. Morality, once again, becomes possible. The hidden panic behind religious morality. Hitchens used this absurd premise to expose a deeper question. Are we really so fragile that the loss of a single religious claim would trigger global chaos? The novel, he argued, is not merely bad literature. It's a symptom of moral insecurity. It dramatizes a worldview in which ethics are externally imposed and intrinsically unstable. A worldview that requires divine surveillance to keep people decent. A worldview, in short, where humans are children who behave only when they believe a parent is watching. But Hitchens saw this view as not only infantilizing, he saw it as dangerous. Quote, "If all the gods ever invented were shown to be man-made," he said, "our moral dilemmas would remain exactly the same." Close quote. If the resurrection were conclusively debunked tomorrow through some irrefutable empirical discovery, would people abandon their children, start stealing from neighbors, or begin acts of mass violence? The implication that morality would vanish in the absence of Christianity reveals more about the fears of believers than the nature of ethics. Hitchens' counterpoint is simple but profound. If your morality depends on a divine reward or punishment, it was never morality to begin with. It was just celestial bribery. The human animal without God. This touches a raw nerve in Western culture, a fear going back at least to Dostoevsky's Ivan Karamazov. If God does not exist, everything is permitted. But history and psychology suggest the opposite. Some of the most peaceful, cooperative, and egalitarian societies today, from Scandinavia to parts of East Asia, are also among the least religious. And as studies in moral psychology increasingly show, empathy, reciprocity, and fairness are not downloaded from heaven. They emerge through evolution, socialization, and reason. In short, we are moral animals because we are human, not because we are told to be by a burning bush. What really falls when faith is lost? The deeper anxiety of When It Was Dark isn't about moral collapse, it's about existential disorientation. If the resurrection is false, then the story is false. The meaning we inherited is false. That is unsettling. But unsettling truths are not the same as destructive ones. What actually collapses when we remove supernatural scaffolding is not our ethics, it's our certainties. Our tidy narratives, the idea that suffering has a divine explanation, or that justice will ultimately be handled by someone else in another world. But these losses are not moral failures. They are challenges, and they invite something more courageous than obedience. They invite responsibility, maturity without metaphysics. In many ways, Hitchens' challenge is a call to grow up, to leave behind the comforting myth that morality is handed down on tablets from the sky, and to face the adult task of building ethical lives through reason, empathy, and collective effort. If the resurrection were disproven, your responsibilities to your neighbor wouldn't disappear. The suffering of others would still call out for response. Beauty would still move us. Injustice would still require resistance. Meaning would still be something to make, not merely receive. If anything, morality would matter more because the responsibility would be entirely ours. We arrive to the end of the story. Like this post, follow me for more explorations at the intersection of faith, philosophy, and moral psychology, especially where the scaffolding starts to crack.
Hey there, you arrived to the end of this episode. You can always check out my YouTube channel and also keep watching because there are 7 episodes. So you just if you enjoyed this one, hopefully you are going to enjoy the next one. I always like to remember that you can support my work by buying my books. Even though I still don't have a book about religion, which is the main topic of the podcast, I do have a book about artificial intelligence, and also I have a blog called Scientists Free from Religion on Medium, and there are several blog posts there, and you can enjoy it, you can read it, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can share it with your friends. So hopefully I can hear from you and hope you had an amazing time. So hope to see you in the next episode.